There is a new book release. This is the second major one about what happened with Biden. This one actually reveals a lot more blood in the water coming from Barack Obama, where we find out how disastrous he thought it was, how it was all falling apart. Remember how in public he presented Mr. Cool, going, some of you black guys, you don't want to vote for Kamala Harris because she's a woman or something. You're a misogynist. You're calling all these names. The truth is slowly coming out. And I have one of my favorite hosts is being interviewed here, Hugh Hewitt. He's an old friend of mine. Welcome to Doug in Exile, to the Quad Club. If you've watched all 4 of these videos, I can't thank you enough. I don't deserve you. That's how you help this channel. Subscribe. I lost a lot of subscribers by telling the truth on a previous video. Sometimes it costs you subscribers to tell the truth. Everyone else is going to make a lot of money making lies, not this guy. Welcome to Doug in Exile.
And a new book detailing former President Obama's thoughts on former President Biden's re-election bid. And the picture, well, you can imagine it, is far from rosy. An excerpt from the book reading, he stopped to visit with Biden's senior staff, many of whom used to work for him, and shared his account of what he and Biden had discussed. Obama was more blunt with the staff. Your campaign is a mess.
Your campaign is a mess. That's the actual truth. Of course, he did not spill that one lick of that in public. That's what he told the insiders of the campaign while they were running it. As much of a liar as Obama is, he can only hide his disgust of the Biden campaign so much. Remember when he helped him off the stage and he was trying to look cool? Joe, what are you doing, Joe? And then really deep down inside, he was going to his advisors and saying, this campaign is a mess. That is the quote of the day. If you guys don't miss anything in this episode, that's the one I want to emphasize, that Barack Obama, it is now made public that he said of the Biden campaign to his actual people while he was telling you to vote for Kamala Harris and how great she is. He said it was your campaign is a complete mess.
Let's bring in Hugh Hewitt, Fox News contributor and host of the Hugh Hewitt Show. This new book has a few new bits into it. It helps us complete the picture that President Obama was incredulous that Biden was running for a second term. Hugh.
I am not surprised. Good morning, Dana. I'm not surprised that President Obama thought the campaign was a mess because he ran a flawless campaign in 2008. So everything he's going to compare it to is going to be a mess. He's forgetting, of course, in 2012, he had a disastrous debate with Mitt Romney in his first debate, and he didn't drop out. You know better than anyone, Dana. Every campaign bursts a bunch of books. It started in 1960 with Theodore White's The Making of the President in 1960. He did it again in 64 and 68. Boys on the Bus came out in 72. This is the third book thus far of this cycle. The first was Fight by John Allen and Amy Parnes. Then came Jake Tapper and Alex Thomas with...
And Alex Thomas's book was a complete lie. That supposed expose of how decrepit Biden is, they were lying to cover themselves up. So this is another truth-telling one that you can trust.
The book Original Sin. Now comes 2024. We'll get a couple more jigsaw pieces, just a couple more bits of information. But you know, any book written about 2004 or 2000 that you read is at best incomplete and often erroneous, right? I mean, no one can see the whole picture except the candidate and the most inner of the inner circle.
I thought this was also interesting. Josh Dawsey, he's one of the authors, he said this on ABC about Hunter's involvement.
Biden had a major figure in the president's orbit. He was often on these calls. He would pipe in to calls. He was helping him make campaign decisions. And the president was very concerned about his son. It was one of the things that was an albatross on him as he tried to run for re-election.
Look at this excerpt, Hugh. Hunter watched the debate from his home in Los Angeles, and his reaction was, what the F? He had never seen his father so out of it and worried about his well-being. A few days later, when Hunter arrived at Camp David for a visit, he told his father, I love you, and get some sleep.
Okay, so there's the truth comes out. Now, before, everyone's like, he's sharp as a tack, Biden. He's incredible. And his own son is going, what the F? He came home and said, get some sleep. He never saw his father that impaired in his life. So everyone else was saying, this is a 4-alarm fire. But in public, the Democrat Party came to you and goes, he won that debate. That's what Joe Scarborough said. They go, did you see him win that debate, everybody? They were just lying to you the whole time.
I think the Hunter Biden inclusion, of course, not only on his father's mind, but being around all the time was probably something that the staff had to deal with too, and they wouldn't be likely to talk about that.
Now, you know that you cannot keep family away from the principal, no matter what situation you're in. Josh Dawsey is a fine reporter. He's the equal of any reporter out there, and I'm looking forward to reading 2024. But this is not anything new to us. We all saw that President Biden was infirm. What we didn't know is that his staff was so incompetent that they would turn him loose in the late June debate after wearing him down at Camp David. Hunter popping up, not only at that meeting, but on phone calls that the rest of the staff didn't know he wasn't on, had to be a distraction for an aging man concerned about his son who was going through sentencing and trial at the same time. There will be details here, but it is clear a lot of people want to make Hunter the fall guy. The fall guy is President Biden, who originally sold himself as a bridge and then refused to go when he became infirm. So everybody else who's taken the fall or taken a hit, like Hunter and Dr. Biden and Ron Klain, et cetera, it all comes down to Joe. He decided to go.
Joe was the blowhard loser of this, but even his son, it's weird because that story by Hunter about Hunter Biden coming in after he sees his dad debate and he goes like, what's wrong with him? He hadn't seen his dad. He wasn't taking care of his dad that often. That allegedly they drained Joe Biden by going to Camp David and doing so much show prep with him and having him still do so much of his job that it exhausted him for the debate. And then Hunter goes, you know, I know my dad and that guy is destroyed that I saw on. So it shows how even Joe Biden's family member like Hunter seemed to be kept away from Biden to protect him from his own staff and from that Democrat machine that was overworking him. And yes, Joe Biden did sign up for this, so I have zero sympathy for him because everyone told him you can't do it, and his big old ego, his megalomaniacal personality demanded he run again.
You know, it's so true. It always comes from the top, and that is something that we all have to remember, especially as the investigations continue and the books come out. And as you said, the jigsaw puzzles come into place. Hugh Hewitt, thank you so much. Thanks for being here.
Okay, I'm a big fan of Hugh Hewitt. I want to hear more of his kind of sober review of just what happened on this campaign. You're going to get more stories come out like this. I know that it's ancient history, but I'm mostly bringing up just to say that you never knew the truth about Joe Biden. Go back to his entire years as a candidate or as a president. When did the media ever tell you the truth about him? When did the family ever tell the truth about him? When did Barack Obama, the amazing, most honest, wonderful politician, when did Barack Obama ever once tell you the truth about what was happening with Joe Biden's health? Barack must have known going all the way back. Everyone had to have known. Just the idea that the truth doesn't matter to these people. They're just transactional. They just want access to the power. They're just like, look, Biden, it really doesn't even matter what you're made of. So long as we win an election, who cares? That is so it's worshipful of power, really is disrespectful to you and I, the voter. What do you guys think? Will we hear more trouble coming from Barack Obama about how he always thought that Joe Biden was a loser and was failing, even though he told you a lie? What other lies are coming out about Joe Biden? I'm Doug in Exile. Shout out to the Quad Club. See you guys tomorrow.